Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but we are back. Today we're going to be doing a 2023 NFL mock draft. This is my first mock draft, and I'm going to be publishing it to YouTube. This is going to be really fun. I really love the draft. I really like the NFL. Without further ado, we're going to just get into this. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, comment what else you want to see on the channel. And without further ado, we're just going to hop right into this mock draft. With the Panthers at number one, I don't think this takes really much discussion moving up to draft a quarterback, and they're going to take Bryce Young, the best quarterback in the draft. I think that's a pretty solid pick. Moving on to the Texans at number two, could use a lot of different things here with Houston, but being at number two, needing a quarterback, it's a lot. It makes a lot of sense to take the second best quarterback on the board, and that's C.J. Stroud for me. I think he makes a lot of sense to the Texans. Arizona at number three. I'm going to do this mock draft without trades, by the way. So Arizona is in a spot to trade down and gather up some more picks. Maybe a quarterback hungry team comes up in the draft, 2-3, and hops the Colts. But I'm not going to do that in this draft. I'll take Will Anderson, just stay where I am. They really need help on defense, and Will Anderson obviously provides help on defense. Great leader, great captain. The tape speaks for itself with Will Anderson. He's such a good player. He's worth the pick. The Colts at number four need a quarterback. They're going to take a quarterback. I think it's going to be Anthony Richardson, freak athlete. Obviously, didn't produce that much in college. However, with the NFL, I mean, you can mold players however you want in the NFL if you get the right people. I think Richardson's a really good fit in there in Indianapolis with Steichen. Seattle at number five, they are in love with Tyree Wilson. So I'm going to be taking Tyree Wilson. I think he's under edge. He's really low for some reason on PFF, but he is going to go in the top 10, I would think. He's such a good player. He's a versatile guy. He's an athlete. He's a good person. And I think that will be a good pick for Seattle. Now, with the Lions, they're in a weird spot because they're competing for the division crown next year because Rodgers is gone. I mean, that's huge. Minnesota, the one-score game thing, we don't really know if that's going to contribute next or continue into next year. And with the Bears in rebuilding mode, the Lions have a good shot at winning the division. I think they go corner. They just traded Jeff Okudah. I have them going Christian Gonzalez here at number 6. I think it's a really good pick, and he'll help out immediately for them. The Raiders at number 7, Jalen Carter on the board. It fits super well that the off-the-field issues guy can go to the Raiders in this draft, so let's do it. I'll take Jalen Carter to the Raiders. Obviously, they still need him. I mean, they'll need a guy like Jalen Carter to help out on the defensive line. He's such a good player. It's just all the off-the-field issues that the Raiders are so akin to that we're going to take Jalen Carter to the Raiders at number 7. Now, with the Falcons at number 8, I see this as a potential trade down spot. I think Atlanta needs to get a little more draft capital instead of drafting higher. But with that said, this is a no trade mock draft. So I'm going to take Devin Witherspoon here to the Falcons. Best player available. They might need him. They're definitely going to need him in the future once Casey Hayward ends up retiring, who they just acquired. When Okudah, they need 3 corners, obviously, in the NFL nowadays. So Witherspoon makes a lot of sense at number 8. Just to get another position, or to get another player to a position of strength to really help out in the future. I think Witherspoon does that really well. Now at number 9, to the Bears, who traded down the first overall pick, I'm going to have them take Paris Johnson, the offensive tackle from Ohio State, the best pass protector in the draft. I think getting him with Justin Fields, who's now their franchise quarterback, obviously, that is a match. That's a great match for them. I think that makes a ton of sense at number 9. Number 10, to the Eagles. What an interesting spot for the Philadelphia Eagles, making it to the Super Bowl and yet still having a top 10 pick. Just ridiculous. They have such a good team. And I feel like this is kind of a free pick for the Eagles. They have so many good players at every position. Every position is pretty much a strength. So I'm just going to take the best player available, and that's Bijan Robinson to the Eagles. I could see this definitely happening on draft night. I could also see the Eagles moving this pick. However, in this draft, I'm going to let them take Bijan. I think that fits really well. And they're just going to use 5 years on Bijan just to really just compete for another Super Bowl while they have Hurts um, under contract for 5 years. Obviously, a huge deal for him. Now we get the Titans at number 11. They need offensive line very badly, and I think Broderick Jones fits their scheme really well. I think he'll go here. Another tackle going off the board. I think he just fits really well with the Titans and what Vrabel likes to run with a big athlete on the outside that can pull with Derrick Henry. So I like that pick. Now we get to the Texans at number 12. I like Jackson Smith and Jigba to the Texans, pairing him up with Stroud at the second pick. We've seen this work in the past a lot. Like you think of the Bengals with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow. You think of Miami with Tua and Waddle. Excuse me. And then obviously you think of like a or a running back quarterback combination that just got a big boost in Jacksonville with Lawrence and Etienne. The college teammates making it work in the NFL. I think it's a trend, and Jigba and Stroud to the Texans makes a lot of sense. Now we get to the Packers, just trading Aaron Rodgers. They just need help with a lot of places right now, so I think they go with a kind of best player available move here. If they view Dalton Kincaid as the best tight end, I'm going to take Dalton Kincaid. I think they desperately need tight end. I could really help Jordan Love develop. I think that's what they're going to pressurize in this draft is helping Jordan Love develop. So they take a very, very good safety belt in Dalton Kincaid. Now we get to the Patriots, and the Patriots are in an interesting spot because I think their best pick would be Broderick Jones, but he's gone. So the Patriots might opt to move down in the draft, which they obviously do a lot. However, this is a stick and pick and draft. Anton Harrison, I think, makes a lot of sense to the Patriots. They need tackle. Darnell Wright makes sense to the Patriots. I think the Patriots could go corner, and I think they're gonna go with Anton Harrison. So I'm gonna take him at number 14. They need tackle badly, and I think Harrison is a Patriots player. I think he fits the system really well. I'm a Patriots fan. So a tackle would be really good. I think getting a player like Harrison would be a great option. Now we get to the Jets at number 15, who just acquired Aaron Rodgers yesterday from the Packers. They need to protect him. Peter Skoronski is still on the board. That's an easy pick for the Jets, who desperately need tackle. Even though they could play him at guard, they need a player like Skoronski. All right, Washington at 16. I think this is the Will Levis spot. They don't need to move anywhere. They get a player that's kind of close to the D.C. area in Kentucky. I think that makes a lot of sense. Sam Howell, they're predicting, is the starter. I think Levis could slide in there and play pretty well in front of Sam Howell or behind him. I like that pick to the Commanders. They desperately need a quarterback after getting rid of Heineke. I like Heineke, so it was a little sad to see him go. But anyway, the Steelers at 17, an interesting spot for them as well. A lot of great players on the board. But Joey Porter Jr. being there, I think, is a lot too convenient for the Steelers, seeing that his dad was a great player for them and getting his son. I mean, it's a great storyline. He's a great player. He's very, very long at corner. A little bit handsy, so definitely needs to be coached up with Steelers, but I think that can happen. Mike Tomlin and the staff there are great. So Joey Porter to the Steelers. Number 18, the Lions. The Lions get to pick again. Obviously, this could be a trade-down spot just to gather some more picks. Obviously, picking the first round twice is a luxury. So I think they could go a lot of different ways. Kalijah Cansey makes a lot of sense. Myles Murphy makes a ton of sense. I think Myles Murphy makes too much sense, actually, to the Lions, making more of a strength with Aiden Hutchinson on the other side and then moving over to Myles Murphy. Myles Murphy is an incredible athlete. There was like a story that he was a baseball player. He pitched 90 miles an hour when he was 14 years old, which is ridiculous. Like, college players don't even pitch 90 miles an hour sometimes. And this dude just did it seamlessly. So, yeah, that was ridiculous, I thought. Uh, yeah, he's just a great athlete. A little bit different player to Hutchinson, so that's why I think he makes sense at 18. But he's just overall a really great player, and the Lions would be lucky to get him at 18. Now we come to the Bucks, and the Bucks are in an interesting position. Baker Mayfield is they're going to be their starter this year, most likely. They could either get more weapons for him, they could bolster up the defense, which is usually really good. Um, so it's an interesting spot. Obviously, they could go a lot of different ways, and I think they will end up taking a defensive player, and I think that player is Kalijah Cansey from Pitt to the Tampa Bay Bucks. Vita Vea, who they already have, is a big run stopper, whereas Kalijah Cansey is a very good pass rusher. So getting those two side by side could really yield benefits in the in defense really overall. Just being able to rush the passer from in the interior is very rare. You get players like Aaron Donald, who's conveniently from Pitt, who can do that. Cansey is one of those players, so he's going to be a really good fit. Now, Seattle at pick 20, they already grabbed Tyree Wilson earlier in the draft from the pick 5, an edge rusher. I think they could double down on edge rusher, but I won't do it. Instead, I'm going to take a receiver, and I'm going to take Jordan Addison to the Seahawks. Tyler Lockett getting up there in age, flirting with retirement. This is a pick for the future and for now, really, because Addison can play at all three levels, inside, outside. He's a really great player who they can utilize outside in the slot, on motion. They just need that third receiver that can really do that, and I think Addison provides that for them. At number 21, the Chargers desperately need offense. I could see them going receiver, but I'm going to have them taking Michael Mayer, the tight end from Notre Dame. That Herbert will be so excited with that pick, getting another versatile offensive player to utilize in the pass game. Michael Mayer is a stud. And yeah, the Chargers could really use a player like him. The Ravens at 22 get such a Ravens player. I don't know how he fell, but Nolan Smith will be the Ravens pick. They need defensive help a lot. I mean, the defense is getting really old. Lamar Jackson situation. The Ravens are so up in cloud 9, you could say. Just their whole team is kind of just all over the place. But Nolan Smith is a really good player. He's a really good leader. And I think he's such a Ravens player. They like getting players like Nolan Smith who can really set the edge and rush the passer. The Vikings at 23, losing Adam Thielen. I think they address receiver here. I think they go Quentin Johnston. Really good. I could see them taking corner as well with Deonte Banks. And I will take Quentin Johnston. They desperately need a second wide receiver outside of Justin Jefferson. So yeah, I think they go Johnston. It's not a very deep receiver class this year, so I think the Vikings jump on the opportunity to take a receiver in the first round. Jags at 24. I don't think they go offense here. I think it's either between Branch and Banks, and I think Brian Branch is a really, really good player. Safeties obviously don't go too high, but I think Branch is just not just a safety. He's a hybrid. He can play man coverage. He can play zone coverage. He's a really good player that I think the Jags would like to have. Obviously, they need corner. I think they can get corners later in the draft. I think Branch is just a really good player they can count on to be a kind of hybrid player that the NFL is stressing nowadays. The Giants at 25 need a wide receiver. They might not take wide receiver. I'm going to mock them for wide receiver. And I think Jalen Hyatt would be a really cool pick for the Giants. I'm going to take him here. A deep threat receiver in an offense that's stressed wide receiver functionality really in the Tennessee offense, where they basically just the quarterback's read was one side of the field on all plays. So it stressed multiple receivers just getting open at one time. Hyatt was one of the best receivers in college football this year. I could be wrong, but I think he won the Biletnikoff Award, which is the best wide receiver in college football, which he deserved, I think, because he was so good. He's extremely fast, has great hands. The Giants get a really good player there at pick 25. The Cowboys at number 26 in an interesting spot. Not many players on the board for them. They could take a player like Jahmyr Gibbs. They could take a player like Zay Flowers, and I'm going to have them taking Zay Flowers, another receiver off the board. Um, I think the Cowboys realized without Amari Cooper, they need a second receiver that isn't Michael Gallup because Gallup is always injured. Zay Flowers can really provide that. A great leader, really loyal, is a great route runner. I think he can work really well outside and inside on the offense, especially outside with CeeDee Lamb. 27 with the Bills. I think they turn their card in immediately for Jahmyr Gibbs. They need a running back. Why not draft a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield and help Allen get the ball out quicker, but also run in between the tackles, and he's really effective at that as well. So Jahmyr Gibbs makes a lot of sense. They could go defense as well. I just think that pick is really easy for a team like the Bills who need offense. 28 to the Bengals. They definitely could go offensive line. They definitely need it. However, I think they go tight end. I think there's another tight end off the board. I'm going to take Darnell Washington, the tight end off of Georgia. It's kind of crazy that a tight end that's not even the best tight end on his college team is going in the first round. Obviously, with Brock Bowers at Georgia just being incredible. Darnell Washington is basically a sixth offensive lineman that can also catch the ball. He's 6'6". He can block like crazy. The Bengals desperately need a player that can protect Burrow, but also be a threat in the passing game, can swing out in the running game. He's pretty fast. I think he makes a lot of sense to the Bengals. I think the Bengals would be great, glad to take him. PFF also says their biggest need is tight end, so why not address it with basically an offensive lineman in Darnell Washington. The Saints at 29 are in an interesting spot. They have their pick at basically anything. They have a lot of needs. So I just think they take BPI. I'm going Deonte Banks to the New Orleans Saints. Almost kind of rhymes. Deonte Banks is super fast. They could use a guy outside of Marshawn Lattimore who can really fly down the field with receivers like Mike Evans. They got Drake London, Kyle Pitts. They got a lot of good receivers in that division. So getting a player like Deonte Banks would be really, really nice for the Saints, especially for a team that needs just a lot of good players. The Eagles on the clock here. The Eagles are interesting because, again, like we said, they're a team that doesn't have many holes. They could just go wherever they really want to here. They could go Mozzie Smith, get a interior player from Michigan. Brian Bresee could be an interesting pick. However, if I can find him, maybe I'm not. I was going to say I'm going to go with BJ Ojulari, but I don't see him. So I'm going to go with Felix Anudike-Uzomah from Kansas State. Was really limited in the Kansas State defense, but I think he's a really good player that is very raw, but I think the Eagles could definitely turn him into a great edge rusher, a rotational edge rusher at best. The saying is you can't have enough edge rushers or pass rushers. It is true. You can sub him out. Brandon Graham obviously is just on a 1-year contract. I think Uzomah makes a lot of sense to the Eagles. The Chiefs at 31 are very upset Zay Flowers isn't on the board. I don't think they take receiver here, although they could. I don't think they take a receiver. Why is this not working? I think they could go a lot of different ways. They need really nothing on offense, I would say. I think they need to get better on defense. And I'm going to take Will McDonald. I think Will McDonald is a really nice player, can sub in and make an impact right away. Why is this ad popping up? Anyway, that will be my 2023 first round mock. You can see it right here. I think it's pretty good. Obviously, with mock drafts, anything can happen. This is just a possibility out of the infinite possibilities that there can be. Obviously, this is one with no trades either. If you want to see one with trades, please let me know. I will be happy to make that happen. But other than that, that's all from me. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.